Yes. We made it. We made it live. How's that? Today, so I've had some big breakthroughs in the past couple days. Sorry I didn't stream on Monday. I think I might take Monday just to code by myself in my solitude and just get stuff done, because I made a major breakthrough yesterday and I tried something that people are probably like a little bit I would imagine. So like if you weren't familiar, we have the WinUtil EXE, right? And that's been people that were contributed to that open source project for a very, very long time. And really the main selling point of the utility is it works offline, right? That's it. There's no real other benefit to it. And you get like an executable that you can just double click. But some people have asked for refunds because they figure out, oh, well, if I figure out how to use admin with PowerShell, I can just type one command and launch it anyways. And I'm like, yeah. So I was like, okay. So we were working on Win One Shot, and I got to thinking on Sunday, it hit me, and I was like, well, damn, this is just so much faster and better. And I already made all the functions to do registry modifications, do the Microsoft Store, do pretty much all the modifications to Windows without PowerShell, and do it in an async format that is extremely fast. What if we just revamp the whole executable to be its own program, but it uses all of the open source tweaks and JSON files to populate it. So if it gets changed in WinUtil, it'll get changed in the executable, and that way everything kind of lines up. The visual difference between the executable and the PowerShell script will probably be notable because, well, a PowerShell script can only look so good. And honestly, WinUtil looks pretty damn good. Most people don't even realize it's a script, not a program. So people are like, how do I uninstall it? I'm like, bro, just don't run it. So that's why it was like, that's why I'm like, yeah, it's not really a program, but I was like, the executable could be a program if I wanted it to be. And I think I could make it in a way that would be so much faster. Well, I have made it in a way that's so much faster. Anyways, enough talk. Let me just show you. Let me just show you what I have been doing. And I'm very, very full aware there, VR3, about that intro sound. Mistakes were made, but this is a solo man operation, and I just haven't gotten around to actually putting something that doesn't sound like awful AI slop. Anyways, one second. Let's get on the desktop. Let's get on the desktop and kind of show this. Yes. Ugh. Yes. So how's everyone doing today too, by the way? Oh man. Yeah, when did Windows Update get you, Chris? Well, so like for me, the turning point, like while I'm on Linux right now, the turning point for me was in 2018. Windows 10 update kind of, I think I was on like a residential machine or something, and I was like, damn it. I think I went to go shut down. No, this is back when Windows actually, if you didn't set your active hours properly, it would just auto update. You could be in the middle of a damn game and it would just auto update. It still happens to some people every now and again, but I mean, pretty much that's when I really started to get my script in order in 2018, and then I just had it for me for a year or two, and it was just no GUI. I would just run the script on any new setup, and I'd just be like, okay, cool. At least I don't have to worry about that. And then I would just set the active hours from, you can only set active hours in Windows for 18 hours, so the 6 hours was, I think it was 1 a.m. to 7 a.m. that it could do updates. So if I didn't leave the machine on, it just wouldn't update. And that was good for back then. But it was enough to piss me off to be like, all right, let's figure out this Linux thing. And man, in my next video, yeah, speaking of which, while we're here, the next video, I need to, man, it's been a while. The last one was the agentic AI mess. When was that? Does this even say November? All right, I gotta do a video soon. It's been like 3 months since my last YouTube video. Yeah, next video will probably be Linux, the most stable operating system with a question mark, because Linux is used in 90% of servers. You've heard this statistic, I'm sure, especially if you're just a Windows person. And you expect the Linux desktop on its head would also be extremely stable, which I would say for a newbie, it is not. It is the opposite of stable. It's very, you don't know shit and you're just going to screw it up and it's just going to break into 1,000 little pieces. And that's just kind of the order of things when you first try Linux. And maybe you could say the same thing about Windows too. Like if you don't know anything about Windows, it's a pretty awful experience. But most people do know Windows because they've had to deal with it with work or whatever for 20, 30 years. But with Linux, it can be the most stable operating system because mine, like hell, like you look at where I'm at and we're 626 days on Arch Linux, which is considered an unstable distribution. And it's way more stable than any other operating system. It never changes. Everything's great. I don't really have anything, but the big thing what I do is almost everything is designed by me. Like I don't use a desktop environment. All the backend is very minimal. Like DWM is only 100K, which KB, which I've talked about many times. And I set all my system settings through the CLI practically. And there's really nothing to break because of like what do I mean to break here? Like DWM works, the system boots. I don't really have anything to break. So it's more of just removing all the excess stuff that can go wrong in Linux desktop for me to have the most stable experience. But if you have like KDE and you install 1,000 different things from the AUR, it's going to break. And that's like the premise of the video is it can be very stable if you know what you're doing, but it doesn't have the guardrails of Mac or Windows. So I kind of laying that out a little bit better. Gentoo, I mean, it can be. Like, it could be Gentoo, it could be Arch, it could be Debian, it could be anything. You can make a stable Linux on any operating system, or any distribution, I should say. But it just depends on the user. Really, the user's the one that you are the weakest link. How good are you with it? And that determines how stable it is. Plasma, I've had, it's always been one of my favorite, if not my most favorite desktop environment. But I will say Plasma has bitten me a couple times over the past 7 years. There's been many times where the KDE team pushed out an update and it just wasn't fully baked and it caused all kinds of bugs, and that felt bad. So yes, bad updates do happen, and I would say they happen much more in the desktop experience when it comes to Gentoo, Plasma, and this is going to piss people off, but it's going to happen more often from GUI bugs and things like that than in Mac and Windows. Believe it or not, that's just facts. Plasma screws up more than Windows. Now, Plasma is also not pushing any AI agentic crap in your way and trying to load a bunch of crap on the back end. I'm just saying there's a lot less quality control with your Linux desktop distributions than your mainline Mac OS and Windows. And no Linux person's going to say that out loud, but it's the truth. They're going to screw up more than your Windows and Mac. But it also is like, hey, if you're on Debian, you go back like a version or two, there's ways to maintain that and mitigate those things. But if you're constantly updating every day, yeah, you're gonna run into more bugs. I maybe the counterpoint here, just to be devil's advocate, if you were on the preview spin of Windows and the Windows Insider, and you're constantly updating every week, you're also going to run into a lot of bugs. So I think that would be the counterpoint. But most people just do the standard stable release of Windows. They're not a Windows Insider, and it's typically a better experience. And you could say the same for Linux people that are on a stable distribution like Debian and running 1-2-year-old software updates. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people like Arch and a lot of those variants, and they like the new releases as they come out, and then you're going to experience more bugs. So
look, I want to say
again,
I know
depends on the user. Depends on the user.
Thanks for thanking of me.
HHH, thank you for becoming a YouTube fan. I like to bleed too. You know, there's something about it that's just great. So I wanted to showcase what I've done in this past couple days, just so everyone can see it in action. Where we're gonna go Win1. Ooh. Did I wipe my PowerShell? Oh no. What? Did I wipe out my PowerShell profile? Oh, well, that's just disappointing. Alright, well, let's just reinstall that real fast. Debian is for dads. That's pretty funny. Let's see. Config, install. Just gonna do, I have to have my PowerShell profile. There we go. Let's relaunch. Yeah, I was like, what is going on here? All right, there we go. Yes. Somehow I uninstalled it. Oh, you know what? I think it was when we were messing with the power profiles last time we were live. All right, let's pull all my updates. I want to show you kind of... let's just do it in code, actually. Man, code's taking a while to load. How the hell is Cursor still bound to this? I thought I've literally uninstalled Cursor. Whatever. God, I hate Cursor. It's like spyware at this point. Get out of here, Cursor. Just want to use my VS Code and be left alone. All right. So now let's make sure we're up to date. So the first thing I did this past couple days was I broke apart all the views. So back then, everything was mainlined into the main window. It auto ran tweaks. So the idea between Win1Shot was that it would just, you'd launch it, it would do it super fast, install all the tweaks, and it'd be done. As I got going, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to bring all the functionality into here, because like when you went into, let's say, Registry Manager, before you would do like set item property, and then that would add a registry key using PowerShell. And that's how it's done in standard WinUtil. This actually loads the module Registry Manager from .NET and then makes them directly using that framework, which is great. Same with services. It uses Service Manager module and so forth and so on for all the tweaks. So then everything is done a whole different manner. So honestly, even PowerShell could completely break, it wouldn't matter. But the main benefit from doing it through .NET is it is so much faster. Because you got to remember, PowerShell, you feed the PowerShell command, then PowerShell translates it and then does it on the back end. Now, I've optimized this as much as you possibly can optimize it for a PowerShell setup. We're using run spaces. We're doing all the things to make PowerShell as fast as possible, but at the end of the day, it's still PowerShell. And you just will never beat straight code like this. And especially with speed. And on modern systems, it just runs so stinking fast. So let me show you the new design that I've worked on in the past day. Let's go with the restore, because I can't remember if I changed any of the framework or anything. I don't think I did. I want to start learning C. What extensions of VS Code I should use? I think there's just a Visual C one that I use, and then I go from there. So, you know, just start a project, Dan, and then just find something that that makes sense to make. Like a Windows app is a great way to start with, and then just make a console app starting off, and then slowly add maybe a GUI into it, and that's kind of how I started learning it. I think it's easier when you have kind of like some kind of vision or a project to push you forward. So now, I think it was yesterday we were doing a bunch of different things. We added a light mode, dark mode, and also kind of changed, like these are just placeholders right now. And then if we run tweaks, you'll know how long it takes for WinUtil to run tweaks. Check out this. Now I modified this a little bit because I'm going to remove this run box and we're going to add probably all the standard utils, but we're going to make some more fancy things that are just not possible in PowerShell. Dynamic resources can be popped up to kind of give you a more verbose output to a normal user, and they can see what's happening in real time. So if you hit run tweaks, it goes through registry tweaks, shows you where service manager is, does the task manager, does the app removal, and spits out all the output here. It's done. That's how fast it is. And like, just to showcase this, let's go to the Microsoft Store. Let's install a junk app. I like to use Microsoft News because that's a junk app. And we'll just install that bad boy. Let's close this. So it's about 11 megs, so a pretty small file. But you can like get help and all these other things that get installed on systems on default. You'll see. All right, so it's installed. You can see on, oh no. You can see on here, if we go news, you got the news app, it populates, blah. So now let's do the uninstall, or we're just gonna run the tweaks again. So we're gonna hit run tweaks, goes through, optimizes everything, sees the news, uninstalled, done. Literally just a couple seconds. And if we type news again, it is nowhere to be found. So very, very fast. And I've been optimizing that to just get rid of all the junk. And it does, so I also expanded the app removal functions, so it will do all users, both provisioned and non-provisioned packages, and then it goes to your specific user, looks for non-provisioned packages and provisioned packages. So there's 4 checks that happen, and then if it hits any of those checks, it goes, okay, great, found it, uninstalling, and then it gets rid of not only the bloatware on your user, but also on the all users category too. So it's very, very, very good, very fast, and it gets rid of so much. I can't wait to try it on a new install too. So that's that progress. But the other thing that I did, and I wanted to verify this, was on the install tab here. And we need to clean this up a bit. But these are the packages. So right now, you can just select a couple packages, hit install, and it'll be good. But let's say WinSCP. Let's get that installed. And we'll click install. It installs it. Now, I do believe, let's see, it failed to install. Oh, it's already installed, that's why. Let's try FileZilla maybe. Oh, I don't even have FileZilla on here. Oh, Files is Cocoa only, though. Wonder. Let's find something to install here so we can show it. And this is all pulled in. I want to show this too. Like when you look at GitHub, WinOneShot, wherever this executable is run, it pulls in two distinct files from WinUtil. Applications, and then also tweaks right here. And it's populated using WinUtil, but how it implements and installs or uninstall things, it's using all .NET framework. So it essentially migrates everything, and then instead of using PowerShell, it does it through there. So that's the idea. So, oh, I already have that. Just have so much crap on here. Let's go JetBrains. Let's install this. I think I wanted to mess with JetBrains anyways. That's a pretty big install, but you can see it go in the background. Now, I believe this is not doing it through, even though this looks like a PowerShell install using WinGit. I do believe it uses like a COM-based install. So great. It was. I also still had SEP selected, so it tried to install it too. But let's go to that real fast. Thank you for the gifted sub, fat bastard. Much appreciated. Let's go into applications. Nope. Where did I put it? I think it's package installer process. Yeah. So we load the package installer module from .NET. And this is where we use WinGit and Chocolatey. Then I think we load it directly. So instead of doing it through PowerShell, we're actually just interfacing directly with Windows on this and feeding it through. I got this idea from Unigit UI because I've really liked how Unigit UI implemented their installer. So obviously Unigit uses C#, we use F#, but I noticed how clean Unigit's UI was, and I was like, how are they doing that? I know they're not doing like a sub-process of PowerShell and installing it. So how exactly are they feeding it these commands? And then I looked at it and I saw this .NET module called Package Manager, and Package Installer. And then I started reading in the documentation. I'm like, oh, this is slick. So you can just directly install things without having to launch a sub-process of PowerShell. And that really just opened it up for me. And I was like, ooh, that's nice. Could you do it through the web? Well, now that you say that, Dennis. Well, I mean, yeah, you could. No, that's actually kind of, yeah, there's ways to do that. Oh, that'd be kind of cool too. And I might look into that in the future. All right, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get really go there. Happy New Year. There's a significant shift over tech YouTuber communities to move over from PowerShell Copilot Windows to Linux. Do you have in mind to remake some videos on it? User segments like gamers, grandmas, kids, dads, etc. Yeah, I do need to make an update video on the old Linux realm of things. We'll see where the tech YouTubers end up on. I don't know how many of them will be capable of fully switching to Linux, and I'm curious to see where they end up in 6 months to a year. So right now, the one that I'm watching the most probably to see where the conversion goes is Jake, LTT, YouTube. Dude, he made the worst name for a YouTube channel ever.
Hey!
Yeah, like, what was he thinking with his channel name? Should have just put Jake from LTT. Come on, man. Anyways, I thought that was funny. I think it was the uninstalling Windows one. So I'm curious to see where he goes because I think he has the technical chops to make it happen. But that's a lot of pain. And as many videos as he's churning out, he doesn't have a lot of free time because he's putting in a lot of effort. Unless he has like a team behind him, which I don't think he does. I don't know how making all these videos and switching to Linux will go for him. That's a lot of pain to go through while also have a fairly large workload. So I'm kind of curious to see what happens with Jake. Is probably the biggest one that I'm watching. As far as everybody else, like most people have tried to do the Linux conversion in the past or do it in some ways. And honestly, the people that are really successful for it are the ones you really don't even hear about. Probably Tom Lawrence has been a big advocate. He's been on Linux longer than I have. And he's really, really good with Linux desktop. But he makes his system for Linux. He's been a sysadmin for like ever. Or, you know, yeah, MSP actually. And he has a channel called Lawrence Systems. He's done Linux for a long, long time. And he doesn't really even talk about Linux content. I know Craft Computing, Jeff from Craft Computing, he's tried Linux a bunch. Epos Vox has tried Linux a bunch. I don't think it's stuck with either one of them because both of them are lifetime Windows users, and I think they've gone to it, done it for several months, and then like just it's not worth the hassle, and they end up always moving back. I'm trying to think of other tech influencers that have done Linux and gone back. I think the ones that stick the most, I would say, is the programming influencers, like the Primogen. He's a Linux user. Theo probably could do Linux, but Theo being Theo, I think he just sticks on Mac for the most part. But he's totally capable of just maining Linux because programmers, I think I can't believe there's programmers that don't use Linux really. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Lawrence Systems. Yeah, he's amazing. PewDiePie counts as a tech YouTuber now. That's true. PewDiePie, the Pewds, he's going full in on Linux, which is amazing. Some Ordinary Games has used it like forever. That's true. That's true. Level 1 Techs, he talks about Linux. He used to actually have a Level 1 Linux channel, which is great. Jeff moved to Mac. Okay, I did not know that. Man, a little bit thing. Yeah, and Theo riced the crap out of Linux in the past. I think he actually did it as internship for like 3 months working for HP or something. I think that's all he did was rice Linux the entire internship, which I thought was pretty funny. Yeah. Yeah. So it's really interesting to see where they go. And I would say this for people that try it. It's not an all or nothing thing. That's the big thing that that I think most people forget is you can, you know, still have workflows in other operating systems and then just boot them up when you need them, you know? You don't have to always stick to one or the other. It's not a black or white thing. Like there's still times where I still have, well, hell, I got it right here. I got this little MacBook Air for on the go. It's really nice when I'm out and about. And I still like the workflows of Final Cut for video edits because I just do everything in-house myself. And I find that that's just easier for me. But it just depends on the user. So it's cool though. I like seeing everybody. I think everyone should really try it. Tom is using Mac for live streaming and video production, Linux for everything else. See, that makes a lot of sense. For my live streaming and video production, for live streaming, I use Windows. For my video production, I use Mac. And then for everything else, I use Linux. So essentially, I'd still use all three. Because I just was like, hey, I'm going to pick whatever works the best for me, depending on the task. And I was like, why not? Who is Tom? Tom Lawrence. You probably wouldn't know him unless you do I think it's Lawrence Systems. He's an OG YouTuber, been on for like 10 years or something. Huge, like with networking and those types of things. Synology. No, he doesn't do Synology anymore. He's always been TrueNAS and PFSense. He has some really good PFSense tutorials. He's done a bunch of stuff local. So like, if you're really into IT and setting up like access points, networking, those types of things, that's like his type of channel. And he's big on not pushing things to the cloud and having everything kind of homegrown. So like Joplin, I haven't really messed around with the N8, and I know a lot of people like that. I've seen a lot of talk about it, but I just is like, meh, not my jam. What else has he done actually? He has a lot of videos though. It's like thousands upon thousands of videos. I love Tom to death, but his thumbnail game is weak. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, he's all over the map. But mostly in that realm. Do you know Eli the computer guy? I thought Eli the computer guy lost his mind and started talking politics, and then everybody unsubscribed from him. God, what has happened to Eli the computer guy? I haven't heard that name. That's a name I haven't heard in many millennia. What is he up to these days? God, talk about the peak of evolution, man. He never evolved with the times. Squandered opportunities is what I see when I see this man. I mean, at least he's got back to talking about tech, which is good. Kinda. God. Yeah. Bless his heart. Just all over the place. All right, yeah. Oh, man. Not the AI thumbnails. I've tried so many times to do like the AI thumbnails on crap, and it just always, like, it's not necessarily bad, it's just not good. That's the problem I have with it. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it doesn't look bad, but I can never say I would ever click on one. It just looks too generic and unoriginal is the problem with AI thumbnails. And a lot of people, I don't know, I have my own style of thumbnail. Obviously, this is a very opinionated thing, but I think you should have like a brand of thumbnails that you cycle through. Like when you look at my channel, when you see my videos, you should see on the thumbnails, I typically stick to a format of thumbnails that tells you what the hell it's about, and you should know, hey, what is this going on? Fast, clean windows in the background, my stupid mug on the front. You know, it's a Chris Titus Tech video. I'm going to be talking about fast, clean windows without even reading the title. And that's what I think it should do. It should convey whatever it is you're talking about as quickly with as few words, hopefully no words, but no more than 3 words is the thing. So, me pointing at Hyperland, it's about Hyperland. Linux with Linux in the background. I think that's really how it should be. I think this is where I shit all over SteamOS. Yeah. And I feel like that's what a thumbnail is supposed to do. Tell you what to expect without being literate. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, the Gen AI thumbnails look cheap in a bad way. I know. AI thumbnails are like vegan burgers. Oh, gosh. Yeah, the last, I don't even think it was a vegan burger. I think it was like that generated meat crap, the artificial meat. I had it at like a Dunkin' Donuts, and I got it for my daughter. And I remember she took one bite and she's like, "Dad, this tastes awful." And I was like, "I just paid $5 for that. You got to eat it." And she's like, "I can't. It's really that bad." And she's like, "You have to try it. If you want me to finish this, you have to try it." I was like, "All right, fine. Come on. It's not that bad." And I remember biting into it. And I was like, "Oh." And I was like, "Okay, no, don't eat that. That's not edible. I'm sorry." Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Beyond Meat crap. Oh, it's so bad. Yeah, I think Mark Rober made a video with like Bill Gates once about it. And it's so awful. It is straight up like Soylent Green, terrible. Like Soylent Green probably actually would have more nutrition than that chemical mess. Yeah, you're just never going to sell me on the artificial burger. That that experience was very, just sticks out in my mind. This was like 5 years ago, I think, at this point. Bean-based burgers are much better. Totally agree. Like, don't try and re-synthesize meat. Just give me a bean burger, call it a bean burger. I'm good with that. Totally fine with a bean burger. But not that synthetic beef crap. I'm sorry. That is just straight up poison. Yes, Bill Gates should go to prison for that. Straight up. For that alone. Oh, much less the Epstein visits. Anyways, I'm sorry. I'm getting off track here. Let's get back to it. Let's get back to it. uh, Russian cybertext us daily. Most of us run Windows. We need a solid antivirus. No, man, you need a new operating system. You don't need to be running Windows at all. Like, straight up. Like, Windows is so easy to compromise. I just would never run that, especially when I see states running Windows. I'm just like, do you just not like security? Do you just like turning over all your information to everybody? Don't use Windows. Like, just awful. Yeah. Oh, thank you. And you got me toast. Thank you, my love. Oh. Yeah. Anyways. But yes, don't be using Windows. There's no way to secure Windows down from a state attack. If you locked me in a room and said, "I need you to hack into all the Windows machines," I'm gonna make it happen. There's just such a huge attack surface that there's so many things that have to be locked down on Windows. Now, I understand it's not an overnight conversion, so the first thing I would do for you, Panda, first off, do not, or no, where was it? I don't even know where it was. But if you want to lock down Windows, Harden Tools is your friend. Now, no, this is going to break stuff. Like, security and convenience is a big thing, y'all. The more secure you are, the less convenient your system will be. And that's just kind of how this works. So, Harden Tools is nice because it removes a lot of the attack surface of Windows. These things are enabled by default and bad actors can get in through them. Office macros, VB script, Office package objects. Adobe Reader has a ton of exploits. You have auto run, autoplay that can be exploited. PowerShell, which is used to launch my script, by the way. If you disable PowerShell, my script won't run, but my script makes a lot of system modifications, and technically you could use PowerShell as an entry point. User account control, ratchet it up, and then like ASR rules, and then the basically changing Defender to be a little bit more aggressive. These things are good to do for someone that's trying to lock down their system, but it just removes a lot of attack surface, but not all of it. There's still a lot of remote execution things to exploit in Windows, and you can see that through the CVEs. So if you go CVE events, I think, yeah, cve.org. I think that has it. Let's see. Did they list it? No. I don't think it's cve.org. CVE lists. Maybe. I want to say I was using something else for the listing. But anyways, you check the latest CVEs, and then you can see kind of what's getting exploited in Windows at the time. And typically people aren't updating every day, and a lot of these CVEs are day 0 or not even patched, and you can actually exploit Windows users that way. Just seeing and documenting what's there. Now, having said that, like SMB is a very, very unsecure script protocol, which is used for file transfers in Windows, and that's really bad. Remote registry, God, no. Hopefully, nobody changes that to be activated by default. I know WinUtil disables that by default. So, there's also a bunch of third-party apps that people load on their Windows system, such as it's actually in WinUtil. Let me just launch WinUtil real fast for you. Oh, no. I'm running a blank here, but let's go IRM. It's under tweaks. Yeah, Windows platform binary table. That's a highly exploited spot in Windows. If you're unfamiliar, many manufacturers like Asus was compromised for upwards of a year, and they had a malicious actor essentially having kernel level access to your machine in Windows if you had Asus products or Asus Armor Crate. A lot of times they could distribute things to your system and run at a kernel level. So they could do whatever the hell they wanted to your system. And that's why this is an option in WinUtil. I should probably move this to essential tweaks, because I think everybody should disable this and nobody should use any manufacturer programs to load things on their system at the kernel level. There's no reason for that. Those manufacturers should load specific drivers and things that install on your system, but there's no reason to give them access all the time to the kernel. They need to request access to install those things, and they just giving them free reign is just being monumentally stupid. There's just so many security things about Windows where it's just so easy to exploit that it's like, what are we doing? Like, anytime I see like a government employee or anybody that needs a secure system and say, I'm using Windows, and I'm just like, you're a lost cause. I got nothing for you. I mean, I can remove 90% of the holes maybe, but it's still a very leaky ship, man. It's eventually gonna get sunk, and I don't want my name on it when it goes down. And that's just Windows in general. I mean, you can do a lot to mitigate those risks, but you'll never eliminate them. It's not if you get hacked, it's when you get hacked. So anyways, that's my Windows security rant of the day. So sorry you had to listen to me go through all that. When we get a video on WinUtil one shot when it's done. Totally when it's done. Asus routers for sure. A lot of residential routers are really bad. So definitely watch out for that. I'm eating turkey bacon. I switched to Arch and it's been a month. I really missed my Wavelink volume mixers. Any suggestions for that? Eesh. Trying to think. I don't know. Chat, I don't want to say what I'm about to say, but Elgato does work very well on Windows. And I do have a reason for running my live streams off of Windows using a ton of Elgato stuff. Like I'm looking at 3 Steam Decks. I have a Wavelink, and yeah, this is actually an Elgato arm. I have a lot of Elgato equipment. All my lighting. Actually, I have 3 Elgato key lights, and then I've been slowly switching them out to Amaran, which is a little better, but not really. The volume mixer, God, Linux does not do great with audio. It just doesn't. It is not great with audio. It's probably the worst operating system for audio, if we're being honest. Oh, I don't know. I don't have a good solution there. What's everybody else's solution for complex audio mixes on Linux? And if anybody says Jack, I'm gonna slap you. Jack is... You gotta have a rocket science degree to freaking mess with Jack. I did it for a little bit. I was like, this is such a headache. I'm out. For the input, yeah. So actually, if I wanted to do full Linux, so here's the thing I would tell people. This is actually a great segue talking about Linux and Windows, and you should not expect all your Windows stuff to work on Linux. If you really want to 100% Linux all the time, you should buy with that objective in mind. So instead of using like Avermedia is pretty agnostic, but it's not what I would pick. I would pick oh heck, let's just load this up. Let's go Amazon. Let's go, or actually not Amazon. Let's go, what's that brand? Magewell. These are expensive, but Magewell has some of the best Linux support ever. And I would go with like a Pro Capture, and they make all kinds of really good products. What is it called? What did I have? Not that. Convert IO. I thought it was Pro Capture. HDMI. Yeah. So I have the Pro Quad Capture, although not this brand. I saw it was a radio station that went bankrupt, because there's a lot of radio stations going bankrupt right now, and a lot of them had that Magewell equipment. So you can get on eBay. It's not this one, it's like the revision before I was able to get, but I got it for like $150. This card retails at $1,000. So not cheap. This one retails about $500. Also very good. If you only need 2 inputs, it does a fantastic job. But here's how cool they are. I remember running my live production on Arch Linux because I'm an insane person. And I remember I had a kernel update, and this had specific kernel drivers that needed to be loaded. They made the kernel, well, not kernel drivers, but kernel little blobs, essentially kernel modules that needed to be installed. They made the kernel module on the fly, got back to me in 2 days and said, hey, we made you a module. You can install it on your version of your Linux kernel, and then gave it to me. So Magewell is probably the absolute best for Linux compatibility if you want to go full Linux there. As far as audio goes, though, I'm trying to think. The problem is I never really got a good solution to this. I have so many inputs. I have somewhere around 10 different audio inputs. Don't ask why. I did like interviews for a little bit. I did remote capture. I have all these different setups just because I like geeking out to it. So I ended up going with the Presonus rack mount setup for all my intakes. So all my mix happens externally. And I think you could probably do that and just mix it all on your hardware side of things and then bring it into it as a singular input is how I would do the Linux side of things. Take Linux out of the picture altogether, all the operating system out of the picture altogether is probably the best way that I can think of. Yeah, Tascam's good for audio software, agreed. So it's, yeah, I mean, so that's my thought process behind it. But if you were switching to Linux, remember you need to switch with a purpose and be thinking of different things. That's why I say if you want 100% Linux, you should go with an AMD GPU. There's no reason not to. I think the AMD GPUs just are better supported, and you're just gonna have less headache. It's great. Magewell's great for video capture, for audio. Try to get as much of that workflow outside the system as possible is my recommendation, and just have one input into the system. I think it's a 44.1 kilohertz, I think is what everything defaults to. I do everything at 48 and I bring it all in, and I don't do a lot of mixes on the actual OS. HDMI hates Linux, seriously. Well, it's not that they hate Linux, it's just the HDMI standard has a lot of copyright protection built into it. So what I do, or maybe hypothetically what I do, I should say, I don't necessarily do this, but let's say you're trying to screen capture things that are sometimes have copyright content on it. And HDMI has a way of sending that and say, this is copyright, make sure it doesn't get copied. But you can get splitters made outside the US that strip out the copyright portion of it and then give you a clean HDMI feed, so HDMI always works. And the best part about the splitters is when you split it, one will go into your monitor and the other split will go into the actual machine itself. So what that does is you get real time. You don't have like this weird janky back and forth going on of, hey, is this clean? Is it not clean? Is there a signal? Make sure I turn off these settings. It just automatically gets rid of all that extra garbage in there. Yes, could you play movies and copy stuff that isn't intended? Yeah. But I don't do it for that. I just do it because I want to make sure my screen is always displaying what is I'm looking at. And I don't want any of that other shenanigans getting in the way. So it's not about that. It's very much just I always want my screen displayed no matter what is on it. And that's kind of how I do it. So HDMI splitters are great for making good compatible streams into it. HDMI splitters removes the DRM BS, so what's the point? Well, the point, Peter, is to always have an HDMI splitter on hand if you want to make sure you don't have to worry about HDMI. I mean, that's what I'm getting at. I know. The cables are bloated, but there's always another way. That's the thing, is you should always know there is another way of doing things. There's always a solution. I would say one thing that most people miss, especially with AI stuff, if you're trying out Linux for the first time, I always have like a GPT or something sitting here ready to go, so I could feed the output of the error I get on the system, and then I can feed it in. So let's say system D blame system what was that? System D. Oh god, I'm drawing a blank here. Where is the system D blame for startup? I think it's system CTL blame, isn't it? Oh, where are you at? Ah, I can't remember. A journal CTL also does it. CTL. Usually I do like a priority equals 3. I think that's it. Oh, I might have butchered that too. So anyways, like priority 3 just gives you the errors. And so I would look through here and say, hey, what's going on here? Hyper poll kid. Why is that even there? So let's copy that. So every once in a while, I'll pull this up and see what errors I'm getting. Do I still have Hyper Poll Kit Agent? Is that even a file package? It's not installed, but it's still referencing Hyper Poll Kit Agent. That's oh, well. That's from June. Okay, yeah. That's man, I need to clear out my logs. Damn. That's old errors. So I don't have any bad errors right now. So I've already worked through them all. But I would just recommend doing a priority 3 of journal CTL and then kind of working through some of those errors just to see, hey, can I clean up any of this stuff? What's going on here? Well, a journal. What's in here? Oh man, I need to clear out some of this old journal stuff. Let's go. Speaking of which, I need to clear out old journal CTL logs older than 1 month. Perfect. There you go. Let's clear that out. So then it clears it all out, deleting archive journal. And now if we do a journal CTL priority 3, oh, well, this is actually a lot better. What's it giving me now? December. I should have probably done a tail. Oh, what is going on here? Oh, this is when I was messing with GameScope. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just a bunch of GameScope errors is what this is. Yeah. I was seeing about doing locking cursor and seeing the best way to achieve it, and I was like messing with GameScope a bit. Also, like, looking to see what was run on startup. Having some access issues for images. Sometimes it doesn't get loaded. We had a module load on the 8th. That was 5 days ago. Oh, that's when I was messing around with... I think I had like an old Razer mouse that I was messing with and trying to get that going. No. It was a Corsair mouse. Don't buy a Razer or Corsair on Linux either. They're terrible with Linux. So anyways. But all this looks good, actually. Getting rid of the Corsair stuff, you can do it. Razer, yeah. Am I not saying it right? Dude, I've done some mistakes in the past. 2.4 gigs of journals, I know. But I've also had the system running for, gosh, years now. Wrong approach. You need to limit the amount of data use. Agreed. You're absolutely right. Let's limit the size. And let's only grab the last 10 files. Yeah, that sounds good. Perfect. There you go. Let me fix this for you. Don't buy Corsair for Linux. Agreed. Corsair and Razer are both really terrible for that. So you working full-time at your job, Titus? No. No. I'm very much a part-timer. They always make fun of me. I think at the Christmas party, my boss said, yeah, Titus has been working here for like 17 years. I keep trying to get him to quit. But he just won't leave. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Everybody laughed at that. I'm like, yeah, just keep me around. I'm like Milton. Dan, that's pretty accurate. Part-time worker, part-time YouTuber, part-time streamer. LTS, I gotta finish that. All right, I'm done messing around. Let's get going. So, right now we have, this is Win One Shot. I need to finish it so I can make a video about it. So it's either going to happen next week or next year. I don't know which. Whenever I finish. So these are placeholders. I kind of want to do something special for the System Updates tab. I think there's a lot of fun to be had there. This is all populated using the WinUtil. So all of these programs and everything is set through the WinUtil JSON file. Now, this is just so... instead of making a verbose output down here, I think we get rid of that. We chop this up, make it much more compact. And then make maybe a bar. I need to fix the spacing there. Make like a progress bar here. Much kind of like how UniGet UI does it. I don't think we need this output. Or maybe this will only appear when actually doing the install. So this will pop up during the install, and then post-install, when it says finished, it'll go ahead and pop out and say done. And then it'll just give the final return code up here. So either success or not. How about 4 columns instead of 2? Oh, I like that too. Yeah, let's do that. So everything's been broken up into its own separate XAML files because I wanted to easily work with this. So, all right, we're gonna clear this guy out. Gonna install. Create 4 columns for applications instead of 2. And then let's get the button. Installation output log. And we'll change that. We'll make that display during the install, and then after it'll go away. I still like kind of having the output text box, but maybe it should just be, I don't know. I still like seeing what's going on, because progress bars are just so inconsistent, and I'd much rather just tell the user what the hell's going on. Should only be displayed when installing apps. Oh, actually, let's stop. Installation output log should only be displayed when there is something running, either uninstalling or installing. And it was just the wrong prompt. Ooh, toggle for output, toggle for expand. Ooh, that might be a good one too, Shadow. I kind of like that functionality. Yeah, Patreon, Twitch subscribers, YouTube subscribers, all of you guys should have, or YouTube members should have access to the Discord that has that, I think. Let's see. If you go into the CTT Discord, you go to a spot in here, exclusive members, software releases, and you should be able to download the latest version. Now this, what I'm working on right now, is 0.4. It's not quite ready to be uploaded, but I'll upload that soon. But 0.3 is there. All right, well, now only displayed. Perfect. Let's see how this looks. Okay. Keep. How's this looking? Fairly readable. Okay. Like it so far. Let's compile and run that. And then let's fix the spacing is what happens next. Okay. Instead of showing the description, this should, on mouse hover, show it. Panda, thanks for the prime. Yeah, let's do that as well. Let's fix this white space below here too. But let's first get our proper formatting. So status bar. So grid row shouldn't not be taking up any room unless it is displayed. Quick categories? Yeah. All right, perfect. Okay, yeah, that was an easy one. I don't think it's gonna need anything else. Let's look at the spacing for the programs. Okay. That's fine. It might still take it up based on the height here, but we'll see. It might dynamically change, hopefully. Now, progress panel. It's fine. So, where, oh, where? Select all, install. This is populated. Yeah, so here's this first grid panel, grid row 0. Let's go to grid row 1 right here. This is where we need the spacing in the panel. Let's switch that to like a 2. The margins are too large all the way around. This should be a 0. Let's chop this back to a 5 and a 5. And that should be good. That should fix quite a bit of our version. So this will kill some of this white space here. Make it a little tighter on both that. And then we should have all this to go. So this should display quite a bit more on next run. Now we were messing around. I think it was last stream we were messing around with hot reload and stuff. Sadly, since we're using F#, I was never able to get like the live preview or live reload to work on .NET 10. I did get it working on .NET 8, but so be it. Ooh, big mess up there. All right, let's go SCP. Let's click that. Oh, I don't have an uninstall. Well, we need an uninstall. Well, good to know. And, so the spacing of this is because of the description. Yeah. That makes sense. Do we have Unigit in here? Actually, let's clean this up with Unigit's UI first. All right, what do we have here? Let's take this. Gosh, not really much going on here. Uninstall. Can we just get filters? We have a list, but we should have I wanted to see any other managed apps in here that I could just uninstall here. I do like how they have everything set. So, let's see, I don't really use Advanced IP Scanner much anymore. Auto hotkey, is that even running in the background? I used to have an auto hotkey, but I don't really use it anymore. Audacity I never used anymore. At least not on this system. Collapse launcher. Command palette. I don't even know what that is. CPU Z. Crystal benchmark. Nope. File converters are great. I actually did a video on file converter. It's probably one of the best Windows tools out there. I love it. Get rid of hardware info. JetBrains Toolbox. Bing Edge. Photos. A lot of different versions of WinGet over here. We'll probably get rid of all the old versions once get some of this cleaned up. Gosh, OneDrive's here. Thought I got rid of it. Let's get rid of that. Oh man, Putty. Man, I remember I used to use Putty all the time. That was such like a clutch for SSH and everything. Oh, those were the glory days. What else do we have here? Windows 11 install assistant. I don't know why that's in there. Windows calculator. No. Every app runtime known to man. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Balthazar, that's a good question about the tweak setting. Technically, the tweaks of both one-shot and WinUtil are the same. One-shot is just using the tweaks JSON from WinUtil. Oh, man. All right, I had to get rid of that. It was bugging me. I was like, please, just do it. Yep, still love CrossFit. Over 3 years now. I still can't do double unders or handstand walks. I can hold a handstand, but I can't walk. So, still work to be done. Yeah, double unders I can do, depending on the day. I think the most double unders I've gotten in a row was like 6. But most days it's like 2, 3, and then I trip. Coordination is just not my strong suit. It could be. I don't know. We'll see. There's one guy I remember at the gym. He was like 6. I want to say he was like 6'6", 6'8". He could do handstand walks. He could do muscle ups. You know, all of it. It was insane. There's some truly mutants out there. Effortlessly too. That's the thing that just blows my mind. I'm just like, dude, you're not even sweating. What the hell? Keep telling them, well, I'm over 40. Yeah, I remember when I was 20 years old, I was just like you. Yeah. When I was 20 years old, I was not nearly as good a shape as I am now, which is funny. I don't think Win One Shot will ever be really public. That's more of a, like, just for me kind of thing. Because there's just so much things. Like, so I might recall this project something different. But I don't think this will ever be public. Mainly just because I don't want to do code review. I love all the contributions I get from WinUtil, but I could only imagine opening this up to the public and then they'd be like, well, technically this should be here and that should be. I'm like, dude, I want to take complete ownership of this. I want all the code to be mine, and I don't ever want to really release it. It'll still use all the Win one shot stuff. So WinUtil's out there, it's public, it'll always be public. You can always run it through PowerShell. But this right here, I just want it for me, you know? And then if I make executables, I'll just release it to like YouTube members and Twitch subscribers and that type of thing, just as a thank you for supporting me. But yeah, I don't want to deal with like all the nonsense that goes with that. One thing on this though, description should be on mouse over only, and it should not take up any space. All right. Ah, perfect. Chops down on the code. It goes description. Add description as tooltip instead. So instead of having all this BS, that'll be good. So let's keep that. The Coco and Wingit badges should be next to the program name, not below it, so we can maximize the amount of items to be displayed on the screen. Perfect. Is it coding or prompting? So like prompting, like here's the thing, guys. Like one, stop watching so much damn YouTube with all the AI hate. There's no reason not to use AI to write a few lines of code and then go back through and then fix the things that you don't like. Maybe even use it for cleanup as well and make it more readable. It's great at making things readable. Spoiler. It can be really good, but you can't just blindly feed it questions. You have to be very specific, and you have to kind of understand some of the frameworks that you're dealing with to really make it work. So, you know, vibe code, not vibe code, you know, I leave it up to you. I don't give a shit either way. At the end of the day, I just want to make something really cool. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so we're going to go there, badge panel, remove all this crap. Like that. See what that looks like. Start learning Zig. No. I kind of like F#. I think I'm going to stick with F#.net for a bit. I'm kind of enjoying that side of things. Ooh, that looks ugly. Yeah. All right, let's take that back. You had your shot. Where are you at, badges? Do I want to even show the badges? I could just get rid of the badges altogether. How's WinGet do it? Remember how I coded that. Might as well use Python. And low perform. No, get out of here. Python and F# are completely different, good sir. No. F# not low performance. It's fine. You crazy. You are absolutely loco. Saying it's the same as Python. Just trolling me now. Now, where are the badges at? Alright, maybe WinGet? Alright, there we go. There's the context. This is the selection. It's dynamically done, so this is going to be an input tab. Let's go over to badges. So here's the horizontal panel for checkbox and badges. Okay, fine. Badge panel. Let's just get rid of the badge panel. Actually, there we go. Get rid of that. Let's see. Lots of red. That's what I like to see. Tooltip is fine. Gravy. All right, now let's see what this looks like on run. What's F# compared to C#? That's really what people want to know. Ah, there we go. It's much better. Still way too much spacing between each thing. Let's get rid of that. But let's go SCP. What does the install look like? This should pop out at the bottom, install, and they disappear once it's installed. Okay. It didn't disappear, but that's actually kind of okay. I guess if you go to tweaks and then pull it back. It does not. Interesting. I think it's also pulling the JSON from an online source every time and not checking for the cache, which we probably should fix that as well. Okay, the other thing here, when we're creating the package card margin, let's bring that to 1, padding of 2, border thickness. Let's remove, for the package card, remove the border and make them, let's just say remove border. Okay. So that should do that. Add just a hair on the margin and the padding. That should squish them together a bit. Let's see what this looks like. I don't know. I think Peter's trolling us. That can't be right. Alright, that looks better. Now we just need to clean that up a bit. I almost kind of want to dynamically do the columns. Does seem like the package card is a little bit too... Let's take a look at our code. Alright, so categories, which I think the categories might be set in the install tab here. Yeah. So for the categories, let's add a little bit of margin there. Oh, actually, no. I'm fine with that, actually. Let's go spacing just a bit more there. But for the cards, let's come back into there. Let's select this. All right, you're going to make me look it up, aren't you? C# verse F# verse Python performance comparison. Here we go. Let me dark mode this so you guys don't complain about me burning out your retinas. Alright, F# is often overshadowed by more popular languages, C#, Python, and Java. It's a functional programming adoption curve, so a lot of people don't want to learn it. Ecosystem dominance of C#, but you can still use all the .NET packages from C# and F# for the most part. It integrates quite well, though. Limited marketing and awareness, preserved niche usage. I just like how it looks. Best features. It's a functional first, object-oriented support. It's a functional language. I love it for that. Immutable by default. Meh. Pattern matching is one of the most powerful features of pattern matching. So it allows developers to concisely express complex conditions and work with data structures like discriminated unions. With some languages like Rust and Scala, offer package pattern matching. F# implementation is elegant and integrated in the language core. I like it. Concise syntax, totally agree. It's clean, it's minimal, love it. Concurrency and parallelism. F offers simple and elegant model for asynchronous and parallel code. And this is true. Like when I run my project, like the executable binary it produces is fast. Like it's really fast. It's great. Great .NET integration and storage type inference. F# provides robust type interference, allowing developers to write code without always having to explicitly declare the types. I like that too. So, as far as that, C# is just slower and easier to use. Java for Windows and Swift for Apple. Peter, you're smoking crack, man. When it comes to Windows, though, you want to be coding in C#. Like, for sure. Where is this? I can't find anything showing metrics. Let's try programming language performance comparison 2025. What is this? Not what I need. Tier list. Man, this guy puts Go in C tier. Wow, that's bold. I didn't see any S tier languages. Huh. A tier, F sharp, modern type, solid core, strong, community ecosystem. Man. Oh, I like this guy's rating system. Hey, he puts F sharp in A tier. That's great. Yeah, TypeScript's so massive. I don't know what it is about TypeScript. I'm just not like TypeScript, JavaScript. I'm just like, eh. It just doesn't speak to me, I guess. Anywho, I think it's fine. Yeah. Go in C tier is the correct decision. Man. No. What bald bearded builders into that? That guy's cool though. He's a Microsoft engineer, but I don't hold that against him. I think he's a big C# guy. Oh, let's see. Where were we on this? I think I still needed to do the margins before Peter distracted me making fun of my F sharp, my boy. No, that's still way too much spacing. Especially below each one. It's no bueno. Alright, where's our card filters? We're adding spacing somewhere, aren't we? Alright, create card package. Padding. Let's just not give it any padding. Card spacing. Ooh, actually, let's give it a 1 padding. Let's bring this spacing down to like a 1. I want it really tight. Let's see what that looks like. This is just get installed. We do need to make an uninstall as well. But for now, this will be sufficient. All right. Better. But still not great. And honestly, I think it should start on the install package as well. Let's fix that. Let's go to the main window. And unload. Where is that? Where in here is tweaks being selected by default? I bet you it's in the FS code here. Okay, here's the main control tab. Yeah. Let's start on install tab. We're going to start on index 0. And then loading applications. If file exists, loading applications. Okay, yeah, no, it's doing, it's grabbing it from the file. So that's good. here. Stack panel. Category stack spacing is 6. Font size 16 for title. Grid column 4. Yeah, I think the category stack is fine. Yeah. It's more of the package grid that I'm sitting here going, okay, what are we doing? So create package card. This is where this is happening. So let's change this to 0 and 0. Let's bring it in as much as we can. And then let's bring that card stack spacing to 0 as well. See how close this can get. I feel like there's a built-in space here. Just seeing if there's anything else I see in here that might be problematic. All right, let's run that. So much easier when you got a live panel. See, I think that's better. So that's pretty good. Need to add .NET 10 in here as well. We got TCPU, monitor, RDC man. Let's install like 4 things, right? Power toys. All right, let's hit install. I wonder if, what was the last time they updated RCD, man? I haven't seen that. I haven't used it many times. I remember when I had like a whole bunch of servers I had to deal with. It's fine. So we only installed 1 package. Everything else was already installed. I just have so many packages on this system. I wonder, can we call and query what's already installed? I bet we can do that. No, it wouldn't stay checked because you're just querying what's there. We could make a function to check. The problem with Windows, though, and depending on how the package is installed, if it wasn't installed with WinGit, it could get installed in a completely separate area of it, and it's not going to be able to read it. Because Windows can install in program files 32-bit, program data, local data, public, and roaming. And it could also get installed into the AppX store too. So there's literally 8 different spots you can install an app on Windows. It's kind of madness. And depending on what program it is and how it's installed, there could be various versions. I mean, you want to know why every sysadmin always makes fun of Teams? Teams has this problem. It literally has separate apps. They're completely different binaries from what I see for business and personal. And then they had, at one time, they had 4 different apps because there was the Windows Store app and then there was the actual executable app that got installed. And it's like, what are you doing, Microsoft? It's like they can't even decide on a standard. So, why are they like that? I don't know. Teams has a lot of problems. Just use what is it, Jitsi? I think I used that once. I think when I did the collaboration with Brody Robertson's, I did a interview with him. We did Jitsi. All right, so that's looking pretty good. I don't think I have any feedback. What does everybody think in chat? What would you like, not like, want to see about this install here? I kind of like that. We could do the manager down here. The spacing for detecting needs to be a little bit better. Let's do that. It should be here. So here's your detecting manager. We get chocolatey in the detecting. So this gets filled by the other one. We're just gonna actually just add artificial space there to fix that. Could do. I probably should do a margin, a better margin there. Meh. It's fine. Yeah, I think I'm going to make a full-blown WinUtil .NET conversion. So this pulls all the stuff from WinUtil, from the JSON, and then when you click install, instead of running a PowerShell command, it does it through .NET, specifically using the package module, package installer module. So I like that. The tweaks, let's build that out next. I mean, this is pretty good. Should we let's rename this too. We'll call it WinUtil Premium Edition. let's goof around a little bit. Let's go. WinUtil Premium Ultra Edition. Pro Max X. There we go. Perfect. See that requires a rebuild just so we can see how that looks. Is that how the people working at Apple do things? I think so. That was just the title bar. Let's fix the other part. I missed the whole title. That is hysterical. Let's copy that. Let's change the text bar here too. Perfect. And now oh yes. Oh no, it's so long that it runs into the title. It just works. Oh my gosh. All right, let's fix the tweaks tab now. Now that we've had our fun. That is just ridiculous. Here we go. We're just gonna call it WinUtil as it's always been called. We're gonna, I don't know what I'll end up naming this. Let's name it .NET implementation. Boom. So then we got that. Install tab. Let's go tweaks. I want to see how it's loading. I feel like there's this little hitch, like it's calling the web every time. No. But the tweaks JSON file, it does try to read from the file local file name first. You know, one thing about this though, like I want it customizable to, like, let's say you wanted to make some custom tweaks and it had the files locally. So if you look here, you have the tweaks JSON file here, and whatever, just always open it up here. If you look, so what this will do is, what happens if I make a change here? Will it download and update this? I don't think it will. So we need a way of timestamping this file. So then when there's an update in WinUtil, it would either update it or at least prompt to say there's updates. Do you want to go ahead and update your tweaks file? But some people want to do custom tweaks, and then just it would automatically feed, because the whole program is driven from these JSON files from WinUtil. Oh, that'd be kind of cool. So probably do like the updates over here, and then this updates would have its own like WinUtil section where it would find the version you're currently at and then do it. So I probably need to make or add something to this JSON file where it would give me a version. Because right now I don't think there's anything in here. I'm not sure we can even pull the metadata file of the file to say, hey, this is when it was installed and current version. We could also just do the file modified date, and if that is newer than the current version of WinUtil, then don't update. A couple different ways. I'm just not sure from a user perspective what that would look like best. Yeah, just add a timestamp. That's true. I'm overthinking it, as usual. Alright, so here is our tweaks. Alright. So, let's grab... let's see here. Oh. Hit the wrong button. Let's go WinUtil. We're going in our XAML here. And let's just copy this one. Let's paste actually, just drag it into it. Before we go anywhere though, let's do our first commit. Finalize, install tab GUI. I think it's good for the next version. Let's move on to the tweaks tab. Instead of specifying each tweak here, it should prompt the... Let me think about this for a second. Okay. Do not run tweaks automatically, but show the tweaks possible from the JSON. Tweaks JSON, and then only apply the tweaks selected, like WinUtil's input XML. And this should revamp it. Let's see here. It's probably gonna leave so much trash behind. We're gonna have to clean this up. Yeah, Windows, I think, will slowly die out. It's still going to take probably 10 or 20 years, probably. But they still have a chokehold in business and a lot of line of business apps. I'm not sure, but here's kind of a controversial take. I'm not sure which will die off first. Windows or the desktop PC? You know, it's like one of those things. You'd think Windows. The desktop PC will not die this century. I don't know. Look up some stats. You'll notice there's a massive decrease in desktop PC users. It has massively decreased in just overall user base. I could see a future where gamers are just using like a Steam machine. Very, very select people are actually using computers, except for maybe programmers. And the era of the PC essentially ends. And everybody's just like idiocracy, where they just have like the touch buttons like you see in like a fast food menu with just pictures, and everyone's just like the de-evolution of our species. I kind of see it, you know. I know that sounds kind of like a wild take, but I don't think it really is. Streamers still need PCs. I don't know, man. I think at sometime in the future, everyone's just gonna be using like a proprietary box. I mean, I won't ever, but you know, I'm talking 20, 30 years from now. I mean, think back 20 or 30 years. Let's go 30 years, right? 1995. I mean, almost nobody had a PC. The internet was just coming out. Almost nobody did anything with it. I think I remember seeing WebOS and some other proprietary boxes hit where you could actually look up things online, and it was really amazing. But I don't know. I see that as a possibility. All right, we got load tweaks, async, This might work. Let's give it a whirl. What's this look like? I think this is gonna have way too much spacing. Let's fix that before we go. All right, we'll go ahead and keep this. This is fine. But let's go down to footer. Like log file. I don't even think we need this. Let's get rid of the footer. Output box. Let's specify a height. But let's make this 200. And we can get rid of this row definition. Let's make this auto. Let's come back down here. Let's clean this up a bit. Output scroll viewer should only display when tweaks are run. All right, so then we have this grid selection is visible false. That's fine. And for the FS changes on this file, we have the output section. Changes to show true when start tweaks is done. Perfect. Minimum. Now, this is a pretty big change. Let's do a build first. Yeah, I kind of figured. There's some string issues. Let's build and fix errors. No, man, I got out of all that. Whenever, the whole Cardano thing, whenever Trump announced it was going to be backed in, like, a crypto registry, I was immediately cashed out when everything doubled and tripled overnight. I was like, this looks like a good out. I'm done. I wipe my hands with you. And that was good enough for me. And I think since it's just done nothing but crash. But I got out over $1. So I was happy. Feel like I dodged a bullet. It's like going to the casino and throwing your money on the table. Yeah. Well, so like I had, what was it, a couple years ago. The IRS did something and it was just this big ordeal and I had to go back and forth and I way overpaid, but it was because of unreported crypto earnings. And there wasn't enough records for the cost basis. So if you're unfamiliar with paying taxes for essentially investments, you have a cost basis of what you buy it at, and then when you sell it, you pay the difference if you made any money. Or if you're really wealthy and you owe a lot in taxes, you can do something called, tax harvesting, where you take a loss and then you write off the loss. Well, anyways, I didn't write down the cost basis, and I thought surely the platform I was using at the time, I think it was Coinbase, would retain those records. Or maybe it wasn't Coinbase. No. It was BlockFi. It went out of business, by the way. It bankrupted. And everybody lost a bunch of money. But they went bankrupt, and they didn't keep any records. So I couldn't get any of my cost basis. So I couldn't prove that I bought at a certain number. So I ended up paying the entirety of the sale. So I don't, at the end of the day, I don't even think I made any money. I think I ended up losing money out of the whole deal because I had to pay the IRS once back in like 2022 for a ton of money. And then they came after me because when they got the bankruptcy records from BlockFi, they said I didn't report that. And then I had to pay extra, even though I already paid. So then I ended up paying again. And it's just, oh man, there's no other absolute dread feeling than anything with the IRS, man. Oh. So anyways, yeah. I don't really want to mess around with it at all. Have you wasted your money at a casino before? Yeah. But typically I go into a casino just going, I'm going to lose $200 or whatever it might be. That's how I would gamble. So I don't really like that form of gambling in a casino. I kind of like more skill-based gambling where I feel like I influence a little bit more, or I know, hey, I think by my research this might be a better opportunity and I might be able to make some money in it. So essentially buying stocks and that type of thing, which is just another form of gambling. I'd much rather do it in the stock market where I feel like it's an investment that might be a gamble than going to a casino where it's like you're almost guaranteed to lose. Yeah, the only thing I could approve LoJack was the amount withdrawn at the time through my bank. So I looked at my bank, I got those, so my cost basis was, I had some kind of cost basis, but it was almost nothing. So, always keep good records. It was a learning experience, one that I will not, it's a mistake I won't ever make again. Yeah, IRS is working overtime. But oh well. It's always those little people that get stepped on. You can't really fight it though. You'd pay more for like a tax attorney than the amount. So, like, if you want to fight the IRS, you're gonna have to wipe out. I mean, you need at least $20,000 that you're okay losing just for attorney's expenses. And I was like, that's not, it wasn't more than that. And I was just like, okay, well, I could take the gamble and maybe come out even, but if I just paid the IRS, it'll just go away. So you just pay them. It's almost like a mafia type treatment, but for if you had millions of dollars, then it would make sense to actually pay like a tax attorney and that type of thing. So I think that's why the IRS doesn't like going after like really, really wealthy individuals, because they're much more capable of actually fighting back. Where if you're smaller and you don't have millions of dollars in the bank, then it's much more difficult to fight. So I think from the IRS perspective, it's better bang for the buck to go after the average man than it is the extremely wealthy person. All right, what do we got? We finally got a build. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, you never get your taxes back. That's for sure. But keep good records. Always CYA, man. Cover your bases. That's the best I can say. But I think the biggest mistake people make is they think they'll get the same treatment as those with millions of dollars. And that's just not how it works. Oh, that is just terrible. What in the world? That is awful. What? Oh my gosh. That is terrible. What is happening? Oh. Oof. Alright, let's take this whole thing. Let's start from scratch. This whole thing was awful. Why is there a load button? Registry button. Oh. Let me think here. No, this is not salvageable. Discard. Discard. All right. That was all a complete waste. Now, let's fix this. We're not going to do that. For this section, output scroll view. text box. This is where we can do a height. And we're going to do 200 for this. Bring it to the top. Kill this one. This is going to be auto. Yeah, keep good records is the moral of the story. And I think that's true for any nation. Just never think of yourself as above the law and always keep good records. You'll be fine. Have you used the GLM model to vibe code with? I don't even know what the GLM model is. So I'm going to say no. All right. I think we already do progress. Overall progress. Let's go hide. Show hide progress. Show progress should also include the output log view, which needs to be hidden by default unless tweaks are run. And then I'm going to clean this up a bit and make this more readable. We're going to have to change the implementation. Oh, what's the big problem with Cache OS, Peter? I always love Cache. All right, cool. And output log, perfect. Is visible, perfect. Nice. All right, so that fixes that. Yeah, you can build this. It'll be successful. Oh, just Claude Sonnet 4.5. So an older model. But it still checks out. Alright, that's enough. That build worked. I don't need anything too flashy. Alright, so this one, we need to consolidate this, clean it up. And let's look at JSON tweaks. Where are you at? So right now there's the WPF toggle, which is fine. And then you have WPF tweaks. Should be here. So let's just grab WPF tweaks. Services. Okay. So we're already deserializing that JSON. It gets loaded. Then when it comes to here, for collecting registry tweaks, it's specifying these tweaks right here. let's make this a little more granular, and then we're gonna clean it up. So I want to see this disappear, and then it should go through and grab it. Let's see what this does. Now this is grabbing a whole brand new so tweaks tab. It's fine so far. Why does it want to do a load button? This is stupid. Set up item controls. Okay. Then we load. We don't need to load. We'll load by default. Deep load apps, services, location, activity history, telemetry, UTC time, game DVR. It's fine, I guess. Anything else? Oh man, the RAM stuff. Oof. Totally get it, man. Alright, this is getting rid of what I wanted to get rid of, because that's auto-selecting those tweaks. Okay. Now we're to this. Ugh, God bless. How many row definitions are we gonna load here? This is gonna get ugly. Run button. Okay, that's pretty bad, but it could be worse. Why does it insist on a footer? No. Alright. Remove the load button and footer. It should auto load tweaks to display to user. Clean up code and remove any unused. That's fine. Let's see what that does. Hopefully we get a little bit of a consolidation here. Yeah. When will the bubble pop? I guess that's the million-dollar question. Billion-dollar question. Trillion-dollar question. We don't know. It's hard to say. With as much as I think we'll just continue debasing the dollar, inflating everything up as we possibly can. I guess that's the best we can do. Nobody wants to feel the pain of the pop. Story as old as time. Remove Windows AI. The whole remove Windows AI program, the thing I didn't like about it was it touches the component-based store, and I don't think you should be injecting your own. They're just dummy packages, so it's not like malicious, but I just didn't like how that was done. So it's not something I would never apply a tweak that fashion. Because I'm afraid of what dependencies in the future might need in that CVS store, and if it can't touch or modify it, I feel like there's going to be some pain in store for the people that do. What did I invest in? I think owning real land and your house. Like, my investment strategy is super simple. Extremely safe. I'm older though, and in your 20s you can kind of go crazy. It doesn't really matter. You can start from zero at any time. But yeah, I think owning your own house, if you can ever buy a house, I think is the biggest question, the biggest problem for today's 20-year-old, 30-year-old. But if you can, pay off that note as soon as possible. I think it was an actual crime against the American people when I don't know if they did introduce the 50-year mortgage. I think they did, but I was just ashamed that got through, and everyone let that go through. I was like, this is just predatory for those that don't have any financial literacy. So I think, obviously, get a mortgage and pay it off as quick as possible before looking at, hey, what's the stock market going to do? If I'm going to invest in gold, trying to get property and then just own the property, I think is still the number one investment advice that just will never change. But if you can't, and you're just renting and you're trying to get enough money to buy a property, what should you invest in? Dude, I don't know, because you just don't know when everything's going to pop. Everything is on a razor edge right now. I thought, honestly, we'd see it crash, but there's so much artificial manipulation by people in power that it's just hard to know how far they can kick that can down the road. I don't know, man. I don't know if there is a good response there. Most of the stuff you're going to read online is how to retain wealth in today's world, not build it. And most of the ones on how to build it are just straight up scams. So the biggest thing I can tell people is learn a good skill that will be needed for years to come. And that way you'll always be able to make money. Whatever that money is, hell, I don't know. I just know being able to make a lot of it will always be beneficial. So invest in yourself is my advice. And then most of the other financial advice you hear online, buy gold, whatever, it's hard to say what will retain value over time. I do know owning land, owning a piece of property that you live in is worthwhile. It's just, I get it. If you're 20 and 30 years old, they've inflated the price of this crap, so it's so unaffordable. The boomers out there don't understand how bad it is. Like, their first homes were in the $20,000 range, and I'm like elder millennial age range, early 80s, and my first home was a bit over $100,000 for a small home. And I understand that's a pipe dream now. That same home, I think, still sells for almost double, maybe a little bit more. So, not BlackRock. So many people get confused about BlackRock. It was Blackstone. It was a private investment thing that they were buying up a bunch of single home residencies. But it was like, I think it's 0.5% of the market, and they're buying up those and then renting them out to people. I'm not saying it's right, but I think it's misconstrued, and it's easy to point to the evil corporation in this respect. But that ain't what's doing it, man. The dollar's going down. It's getting debased. Everything costs more. Everything. Food, housing, everything. So it's not that. It's the fact that artificial forces are at play, and they are stealing all the wealth of America's middle and lower class. And it doesn't matter if they're Republican or Democrat, spoiler. They all are part of the same club, and you ain't in it. You know, I just call it as I see it. I know that's an uncomfortable truth as an American to say out loud, but it's what's happened. My parents had it better than I did, and my kids are going to have it worse than I have it. That's hard. That's a hard truth. But anyways, let's get back to programming. I'm sorry. Don't want to depress everybody by politics. Ew. Just do the best you can, learn the skills you can do, influence the things you can influence. That's the thing that you should worry about. You can't worry about the factors that you can't control. And I can't control any of that. I see it. I'm like, that's kind of messed up. That sucks. All right, how do we game this? How do we get around this system? How do we still succeed in a tougher climate? Because you can still succeed in every climate. It's just learning the skills to do that. And that's what you should focus on. Don't get sucked into the negative spiral and the absolute day-to-day. There's always going to be, that's just noise at the end of the day. You should know about it, but don't get so like, I'm going to go do this and it's, man, just go learn some skills. Make money, outperform what you need, and try and get out of it as fast as you can. And hopefully you have the aptitude to succeed. But I caution people about it getting sucked up, and I caution myself about that too. Getting sucked up in the news cycle, it's a very damaging thing to your psyche. So that's why I'm always like, ugh, don't want to. Yeah. There's class warfare, there's all this stuff, but at the end of the day, you got to figure out, hey, how do I succeed in this? Just know, hey, yeah, this isn't fair. Life isn't fair. But how do I still succeed in something that isn't balanced? And every place is like it. It's not just America. This is how the world works. You know? Yeah, it's all propaganda. There's no news site that's fair and balanced. They all have their spin, man. They're all working for somebody. And you just don't get sucked up into that nonsense. Because at the end of the day, you're going to just drain yourself of what you can do. And your mental power is better off served elsewhere than trying to influence something you can't influence. Yeah, worry about what you can control is the biggest thing. It's the biggest philosophy that is so important. I have been just hitting build, and I have not been paying attention. What is going on here exactly? Let's see. Before it eats up all the tokens, what is the error we're dealing with here? All right, we got pipe test out. Okay, that's the warning. Is checked, unable to resolve. Is checked, display name. Line 79, position 47. Okay. Let's look at that XAML file. So let's go up to 79. Dynamic tweak items. Okay, so it's just trying to feed these probably. We're making it. Yeah, the biggest problem is us versus them mentality. 100% agree. We're all in this together, guys. Let's not forget of that. 100%. It's easy to demonize a whole bunch of people, but just know most people are good. I think a lot of people focus on the few bad apples out of the bunch. But we're all in this. We're all the same people, too. Yeah, 50 plus. Don't remind me. It's about 5 years. God, that feels weird to say. Anyways, yeah, let's go back to the nerdiness. That's enough for today. God, I think at this point I'm just gonna let it go until it can't go anymore. Till it runs out. When's your next chiropractic appointment, Chris? Dude, I just thought about that 3A. I was like, damn, I need to make one. My back is killing me lately. Terrible posture. Did anybody figure out if the yoga ball works? Alright, there we go. We are ready. We're pulling data type tweak view item, and the tweak item I think is declared in here. There's our dictionary. No. Where's the type declared though? Ah, here it is. I was like, okay, so you got name, display name, description, tweaks, and is checked. Perfect. Alright, dynamic tweak, discovery using reflection. Reads the JSON file, creates checkboxes for each WPF tweak property. I like it. Let's see what this looks like. Oh god, it's gonna look so ugly. Alright. Taking bets here. Let's see what this does. Tweaks. Well, that's not so bad. Select and deselect buttons don't work. Okay, well, okay, the checkboxes do work. Let's apply the tweaks. Well, it says it applied it, but how do we know? So it is officially 8 a.m. So we got the registry tweaks, services, debloat apps found 0, all operations removed. Thing I want to know, let's install news again. So I want to see how that works. Wow. All right, so we have that. We can see the news app right here. Beautiful. Now let's go run. And I want to see in the log file here. We're not able to see it in the GUI, so the GUI will need to be fixed here. But let's say we apply these tweaks. And we look in the log file. Do we clear out the log file each time we run? I don't know. And there it is. Boom. Found it. Successfully removed. News. Perfect. Alright, so that looks good. We just gotta fix this XAML file. Alright, let's go auto. Selection. Let's go padding 2. This is crazy. Let's fix this up. Sleeks to apply. Setup, select all, padding. 5 and 5. That's fine. Ground. Yes, so another thing is it's not using our, it shouldn't be hard coding backgrounds. It should be pulling the resources dictionary from app XML. So any hard-coded values and pull the needed values from resource in app.xml. It is F sharp. F sharp is the better. What do you say ooh for, Caleb? Come on. What? You guys are a bunch of haters. You don't understand the amazingness of F sharp. It's the best. It's the best ever. All right, now we got dynamic resources. That's what should be. Why is there opacity? Why are they adding opacity in? Hover color. Huh? What's that look like exactly? Yeah. Thank God for Twitch chat, I think it was, that said, hey, use a resource dictionary instead of hard coding those. I was like, yeah, that's going to get really ugly really fast. All right, cool. So this is our select all. I was just manually changing this, so that's fine at the time. Yeah. I'll have to go through the JSON file again and see what all I want. All right. So let's fix this up some more. Goodbye. So everything's dynamic. We have good margin, selection, select tweaks, Select all all right, let's just change that. Perfect. And we have our button. Everything's a dynamic resource, as it should be. Now our dynamic tweak buttons, we have our margins, which are just massive. Like, look at this 25 margin. That's ridiculous. What are you doing? And then this margin, honestly, we shouldn't even be declaring anything. I don't even think we do a spacing. So here's the checkbox, here's the description, and then it has this muted text. Let's just get rid of the margins. I don't think we need it. Alright, so tweak items, let's get rid of that. Clean this up a bit. So then we're doing the binding display name. For the checkbox style. And then we have the binding description, font size 12. And that does muted text. You know what? I think I'm going to just take this binding description. Take that. And there's the display name in the description. Let's take this entire text block, dump it. And I feel like that's good. The run button is insane. Look at this padding. Again, minimal padding. We'll do a good margin around it. So let's just get rid of the margin altogether. Corner radius is fine. Again, I don't think we need any of this margin. This padding is too much. I don't know. One thing about AI is it does love it is just tons of spacing everywhere. Overall progress, I think that's fine. (0-0) for registry count. I would imagine that would be a I think it gets overwritten. Let's see. So service management, text. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Alrighty. Now let's see how that looks. That should look considerably better. So now we have our application selection, solid. Here's our tweak selection, much better, much more concise. Applies tweaks should be probably up here. Better, but not great. Deselect and select all doesn't work. Also, the populating this is incorrect, so we'll fix all that as well. It's getting there. So let's go to our app, XAML. Actually, FS. We are going to change. Actually, I think it's in the main window. All right, let's change this to the properly document that. Gravy. Now, let's go close others, and we are going to take that apply. We're going to move that. Once I get to it. Where are you at? All right, progress section. Here's the run button. So there's our dynamic tweaks that get loaded. And let's just add. Actually, I'm going to put it before the select all. Huh. Let's get rid of grid row. Horizontal alignment. I don't even think that's used in these ones. Button name. Yeah. Nothing there. What are they doing for select all? Semi-bold's fine. Padding in corner radius 5. All right, good. I wonder why these didn't have the selectors for pressed. I don't know if opacity is really the way to differentiate it. Let's at least make it uniform though. Alright, now all those buttons should be fine. Select all and deselect all do not work. Are not functional. Okay. Let's see that. Yep. That's it, huh? Okay. So that looks good. And then we'll probably do the alphanumeric order as well. Get that cleaned up. Trying to think here. Let's see what this looks like before we move on. Boop. Inherit declaration specifies inherited type, but no arguments. Tweak stab, line 17. Alright. Inherent. Ah. It's like, looks alright, but in F# you implement interfaces directly, not inherent from them. So they remove the inherent iNotification property change line. Interfaces use interface with syntax by not inheriting from them. The corrected code now implements it. Okay. So there's the interface right here. Okay, keep. And now it should run. And this should bring us right to the tweaks tab. Yes. Alright. Deselect. Select. That now works. Apply tweaks. Looks like that works as well. Progress. Select tweaks to apply. I don't think we need that as well. Let's clean up some of these grid row spacing issues. I don't like this though. I think I might leave this section. Just need to tighten it up a bit. Okay. This whole stack panel, or let's just get rid of this entire stack panel spacing. Let's go 5. Apply selected tweaks. Semi-bold. I'm not sure on this property though. It does look a little out of place, especially when we look at the others. I think we get rid of the font weight. I think it's a mistake. The select all button. One other thing about the background of the select all button, it says primary button there, but on the right here on this button, it's so strange. One thing I never can quite understand is how inconsistent AI can be. Like, there's a standard, there's a flow that is followed, whether it's the dictionary and those types of things. It just never, it always like tries something new. Not that I'm like complaining about it, it's just an interesting thing. How many grids do we have? So we have 1 grid row. Let's also find that out. I feel like there's, so we go from 0, 2. That should be 1. This should be 2. And then you got your grid row definitions here. See, I was thinking that was wrong too. So then we have our padding margins 10, 10, 10. I think we get rid of all of this. This is just kind of nonsense. These grid rows, padding of 10, border thickness of 1. Let's go with a 5 padding actually. And we're going to standardize these. Padding 5, grid row, max height 10 or 400. That's a bit much. We're specifying 200 down here. I don't see any width definitions. Okay. Now that should be more standardized. I feel like there's a width definition that is wrong here, though. So here's your overall progress, which is fine. That's good. Registry is fine. Why are these getting declared multiple times, though? Why wouldn't it just be auto the whole time? Seems wrong. See, going through it. Like, what is the... Yeah, why are these duplicated? Is there any reason behind it? Each grid control needs its own column definitions. In your XAML, you have multiple separate grid containers. Overall progress. Each one needs to define... Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So it is not a dupe. All right, that should make it run much better. I like it. Much cleaner. We have clean apply. Oh. I kind of dig it. So then we just got to fix the listing here of each individual item. So let's look at that. So those dynamic... maybe add a little spacing on the grid rows. All right. Okay, dynamic tweak items right here is the big thing. Item control, tweak items, tweak template, and then this is where it's right in the tweak item. This stack panel, spacing. Let's bring this down to like a 1 spacing. I feel like it inherits the 5 spacing up here, and that's causing a problem. So then we have the location. It's not even pulling in how many items, though. Yeah, the description's not actually coming through. Does that matter to us? I don't think so, actually. Let's see if this fixes our spacing. Get those a little tighter. No. All right. Switch this from agent. Well, let's go ask. So this is adding a padding and then the margin to the spacing. All right. Sure. Just change those two items. See how that looks. Can't remember the XY values on that syntax though. So these are gonna look magic or tragic. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, give me the syntax for that. So it's left top, bottom, right bottom. So Valonia, for margin and padding, they use left, right, bottom, top. Okay, so top should be 0. Left should be 2. AI flipped them. And then for padding, this should be 2. And we'll put 1 for the bottom padding. Or that's actually top padding still. That's not great, but I feel like that's better. Yeah, that's pretty concise right there. I still think we just remove the padding altogether from the top, though. And just push these together. I think it'll be just better. So this padding should be 0. I like that padding from the left. That should be good. I think I'm splitting hairs now. And then we apply it. Looks good. All operations complete. Solid.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
Dragon Skies, thanks for the prime, brother. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. Install. This was cleaned up a bit. I feel like we need like maybe like a category selection. And the tweaks we need to pull in a little bit more from WinUtil. So
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
Nuvito, thank you for the prime. Dude, took 26 months. Appreciate you. Dang. You're up there with Dragon Skies at 27. Drop down categories. I think we could. I think we have to based on what it looks like there. This is pretty much cleaned up with the tweaks tab. You can see how like AI helped like scaffolding it, but like when it comes to like the micro adjustments of the GUI, it always has to be a hand. It always has to be done by hand, because you're just like, hey, I just need to push this just a couple pixels over, and then you can use prompting to like, hey, what's left, top, bottom, whatever, and then do it that way. But yeah, you almost absolutely have to do it by hand. There's just no way around it. I've been following since the OG Linux days of YouTube, man. Those were the golden years for sure. I do need to get. I almost want to redo Linux utility in .NET and F#. That would be ridiculous, though. It's written in Rust right now. It'd be fun, though. I don't know. I like Avlonia UI a lot. It's cross-platform, too. Can you do it in Java? Oh, I think we should do like a... Yeah, we should do... Oh, do we have like... We have all that, right? Bring back the minimize. Is minimize not there anymore? This is coming together. I gotta do... Let's see. Tweaks. How many tweaks do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 tweaks. Let me pull in that JSON file and see if that also has 7 tweaks. I feel like there's a formatting error somewhere. So if we go WPF tweaks, see, this is showing 36 entries. Services, Brave debloat, Edge debloat, Consumer, Tele, Disable Edge, Make Edge, UTC, Remove Home, Remove Gallery, Display, debloat. Yeah, so much more. I think we do 4 columns, pull in all those tweaks, alphabetize them. It should be pulling in content. Let's look at that type definition too. All right, so we're pulling this in. Let's look at that. All right, here's the type definition of where we're pulling the tweaks in. And tweak item, name, string name, display name, and the description. Content, description. I feel like content should be the name, right? WPF tweaks. Oh, I think there's something wrong. Okay, name, display name. Display name's not even used in here though. Yeah, display name's not used. I think this type definition's a little off. So when tweak item is passed, yeah. So it's just replacing WPF tweaks with this when it's pulling in for the display name. And if it doesn't find this, then it just omits it altogether. Oh man. Brain power starting to drop. Dang it. Yeah, we're using .NET 10. What's wrong with object-oriented programming? Come on now. I'm gonna find what Peter hates the most, and then I'm just gonna write in that just to annoy him. And if you write in chat, I hate C, I know you'll be lying. Infected with AI slop. Oh, I love the AI. Give me all the AI. It's so good. Okay. So how display name is registered here? It's just wrong. Display name. Okay, let's go here. Display name is incorrect. Instead of using it should use all right. Yep. All right, display name is incorrect. Instead of using WPF tweaks activity for the parent attribute as an example, it should use WPF tweaks activity.content as the display name. This will also pull in the other tweaks that tweaks tab omits. Yes. All right. So first check the content property exists, null in the tweaks object, then use the content value. Fall back to content if it is not available. So what's this look like exactly? Okay. We don't even need the else statement here. Yeah, let's just get rid of all of that.
Yeah, well, the dude abides.
Voss, thanks for the tier 1. All right. And that should get us something looking much, much better. Let's just clean that up. And then we define description. And then we just define item. Let's see if that works. Oh, let's first just do a build here. Just double check. Should be fine. But alas, 214 does not define the type W. So where is this getting defined? Yeah, that just doesn't. All right. I've switched off agent mode, so this goes a little slower, but okay, prop name starts with that. Gets the tweak object dynamically, uses reflection to access the content property in the JSON structure, falls back to the cleaned property name if content is not available. Content will always be available. Remove any. Yeah, we're gonna go back to agent mode on this one. Reference says to clean property name as content is in every attribute in tweaks.json, which you can verify. Remove unused code. So we were using this WPF tweaks thing. Now we're using this and then doing reflection. Look at this. Okay. That looks like it's looping and not getting there. Let's see. Oh. Oops. My bad. Oopsies. Alright. Now this is gonna look ugly as hell once it starts populating. Still only populates that though. Okay. So looking at this, display name is what should be used, and display name should be content. Right down here, does not do it. It just uses the prop name instead of the display name. Ah. And let's see how it's pulling it in. So after the selection, here's this. The display name binding is incorrect, though. Jeez, come on. Where did I screw this up? Showing the content field. Just the parent name. Yeah, so I think there's some tweaks. Dude. Once I get this knocked out, I just want it to properly populate here. I never was pulling in content, that's why. Well, that will help. Also, invoke scripts weren't used as well. And then links to their order doesn't matter. Order is going to be killed off eventually, which is fine. Perfect. Lots of deleted lines. I like it. Now, build. Facebook, God bless. Come on. I get offended by it every stream. Oh, man. That's fair. That is fair. What are you using, Dan, for a browser? All right. Progress. That is exactly what I wanted it to do. Eight. Is it 8 it's showing? Dude, I don't even know. Dang it. Ah. Zenfork? Maybe. What about helium? I want to try helium, actually. This is 7. So, root. Yes, a dictionary. Like it. Oh, yes. Yes. Nice. So now it'll grab the toggles and the tweak. Now this is going to look awful once it loads. I just want it to populate. Oh, that's looking good. That is looking mighty fine. And ta-da! There it all is. Yes. Ah. Finally. It's exactly what I needed. Now let's look through those type definitions. Let's keep all of it. Perfect. And now we should be able to pull. Where is that at? I think WPF tweaks. All right. Now, looking at this, we have all our invokes, our order, our panel, our category. And that category is what we need. We'll put the essential tweaks in the left category. And then toggles in the, so we'll break it into 3 columns. One's the essential tweaks, the second one's going to be the non-essential, and then the third is the toggles. Oh, really? Helium has their own extensions. Wow. Dang, I have a hard time swallowing that pill. You know what I'm saying? Just a rough go for me. All right, so then we have our JSON. And if we look at the JSON right here, and you have your category essential tweaks. All right. So we'll take our tab, display content in alpha numeric order. Separate by category. There we go. Why is the bottom half not used for programs? It's a very good question. Let's fix that as well. Because I haven't gotten to it yet. All right. We need to update select all methods to skip the category headers and run cheeks to handle them properly. Okay. It's fine. Really? Doesn't look quite right. All right, well, let's give that a whirl. Bet it'll compile. But we need to take up that full one. Let's just do that, shall we? All right. First row should take up 100% of the width and height and when apply tweaks are run, it disappears, and then only row 1 and 2 are shown, which is the progress and output. Grid starts at 0, right? I should have defined that as grid 0. Yeah, my bad on that. All right, so then we change that. Visibility, auto. Okay. Nice. I think that's pretty minimal change, but a good one. A good observation. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's see what that looks like now. It did organize it properly. Look at that. It's a little cute that this is all separate and secondary. So you have advanced tweaks, essential tweaks, and then customize preferences. It looks good though. I know, well, it doesn't look good, but you know what I'm saying. It did pull in everything I want. So if we were to just do, let's say disable activity history, we hit apply, this disappears, boom, shows all this. Yeah. I mean, this did work, but not exactly what I was going for. It's close, but not, missed the mark just a hair. So on this XAML file, so how we organize, this needs to be organized into 3 columns. So we're going to actually be changing the AXML as well. Categories should be separated into 3 columns. First is essential tweaks. Second is advanced tweaks. And third is toggles. The categories should not be a checkbox, but a text. But unselectable text. Yeah. Should be a pretty quick fix. for that. I like having live preview a lot better, but when interfacing with the AI a bit, it makes me think about what I'm going to ask it. So not having live preview, well, it still sucks, but it's not as bad as, you know, you think, because a lot of it you're just kind of like, okay, let me think about exactly what I'm going to change here. Sometimes it's a manual tweak, which when it's manual tweak, it's like, man, not having live preview just really, ugh. But so we're kind of going old school here, having to recompile every time. But that's what I get for choosing F sharp. I know, you can say it. It's fine. Alrighty. A lot of changes there. Sonnet 4.5. An oldie but a goodie, you know? Yes, yes, yes. Look at that. So we can just go boom, dark theme, apply. Done. How do we reset the tweaks? Also, the secondary ones, let's fix its positioning as well. The positioning is wrong. That's pretty good, though. I think we should do a commit on this before I screw it up. Yeah, let's commit this. Fix tweaks to mirror WinUtil. So we finalized the install tab, we fixed the tweaks, got that looking pretty much like WinUtil. It still need to adjust the columns or the grid 1 and 2. So let's go down to grid 1 and 2. So right here, this is our progress selection. Where does it start? Is there an absolute value here where it's starting midway down the stream? Let's see, I don't see anything. I'm gonna go into ask. It's new. And so there's our log output here. And this is the nope, not tweak selection. Progress section. Progress section and output section should take up the screen 50-50, but they are starting 1/3 of the way down the screen. Why? Set the first one to auto when not showing selections, or collapse the first row when it's not visible. This way, when selection is hidden, it won't take up any space. In the progress selection, row 1 and will be able to split the screen, say 50-50. Okay, so that seems like a pretty basic change. I'm not thinking that'll work, but hey. Seems like a bit of a dice roll. That's not right. Well, actually, yeah. No. So it's just this little bit here that's changed from our working tree. Interesting. Let's give it a shot. And that should correct that side of things. Also need to make everything unselected by default. Could you imagine someone running here and just hitting apply right out of the gate? Oh god, that would be a nightmare. Alright. There we go. Honestly, this should... Alright, let's fix that. Log output. There's got to be a definition for height. Yeah, there's a definition. I was like, that's wrong. Alright, let's get that. I do worry about the text box growing past. Let's go. Will output text box grow larger than the available screen space? Okay, cool. So that's fine. Now for row 1, if we look at the grid here, I don't see any spatting here. Row 1 is too big and needs to end after the progress bars are drawn. How? Probably don't need to write how. Auto takes up. Auto will resize the content, which is just the taskbar, and then just leave that. Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense. Let's make that auto. No, we want to leave that as dynamic. Because if you go auto, then it'll draw the whole thing, but asterisk will just grab whatever the rest of it is. So now we close this, and we should have a very nice output on run. We'll do all the essential tweaks on this run, so we get a little bit more verbose output. So we'll just go deselect, and I probably should pull in the standard and the other file for that as well. All right. Then we got the full-blown that, and there was no there was no app removals in the actual essential tweaks. That's right. Cool. All right, man. That is perfection right there. Chef's kiss. That's a very, very good productive day. What do we think, chat? Have you all just been ignoring me and just talking politics behind my back? As I've been working, that's okay. I don't mind. I could be your background noise. Yeah, that's just a lot of fun. Oh, sure. Send me a link. Download from that. Sure, man. What do we got? Before I leave, because, you know, sometimes I got... Here, I'll just send you the link to the channel. Are you a member in the... Fat bastard, you gotta be, like, a premium member in here, man. Let's see. Where are the users? Fluffy, Dark, Jim. Oh, you're not on... Are you not on there? Fat bastard? How do I send the link from Discord? Yeah, what's your Discord name? I guess that's the better question here. Anywho, I'm gonna drop off YouTube for now. 1 second Twitch. I'm gonna get Fat Bastard all ironed out, and then I'll end you guys too. But that was a productive stream. Got the first 2 tabs pretty much coded out. There's still some rough spots to really iron out there, but the other 2, the config and updates tab, I'm not worried about at all. Literally, the install and the tweaks are just such heavyweights and used so much that the other 2 tabs, I'm really not concerned. That should be pretty easy to put in. I think I will do some cool stuff with the updates tab. It'll change it a bit, but man, it'll be neat. So, all right, YouTube, take it easy.